was driving to work this morning, I was listening to another radio station, as we broadcasters sometimes do. What I heard shocked and saddened me.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They're here, nerds.
Wait, is this the group that goes around mutilating squirrels?
You just mind your P's and Q's, Buster, and remember who you're dealing with.
Well, at least we found them. Fortuitous, Captain. And now that we have them all together,
you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
The Entertainment Roundtable.
They make one person go, blah, 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 and the other person go, what are you talking about? And then one person goes, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, welcome in. Hope everything's going well on this good night. What a beautiful weekend we're looking at here. Unbelievable. So thank you very much for taking a little time out of the beautiful weekend to spend a little bit of just this hour with the Entertainment Roundtable. I'm Steve West. We got Jeff in studio.
Hello, Steve.
And we've got Jacob on the phone.
Hello.
Howdy. Happy to have you. And let's see, because we are recording, being as it's Talladega weekend, not on Friday, but on Thursday, Ryan not available. Josh is somewhere in the netherworld continuing to work on the new Irwin Brothers film, which we found out a little bit earlier this week. Jeff, you and the guys on the morning show here had a gentleman on talking about casting.
We did.
So we have been given the green light, effectively. We do know exactly what the new movie is going to be. It is a movie that's being entitled Woodlawn. It is the movie based upon the life, at least in high school terms, of former Alabama Crimson Tide running back Tony Nathan, and a gentleman who is going to be very, very close to the Irwin brothers. We'll worry about all those details a little bit later. But that's the movie they're going to be working on, and as we go on through, I'm sure that Josh will alert us of numerous opportunities where you, the listener, can be a part of the movie by being an extra in it. We'll keep you posted on how that goes. Thank you very much for checking us out this weekend. Talladega weekend here is the reason why we're recording on a Thursday as opposed to a Friday. Myself and Dustin, my co-host on Fastest Hour on Radio, are going to be out at Talladega Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So busy weekend here. And if you have plans to go check out a movie, maybe we can shed a little light on what it is that you can and would like to probably go see, and those movies that you really want to avoid. With that said, let's get into it by talking about how there is constant movement going on the Facebook page for this show, facebook.com/The Entertainment Roundtable. Jacob is right there on updating us on all this stuff. Jeff, you've even noted it. Things that you find interesting, you'll go over and you'll find that Jacob has already posted it.
Oh, I just stopped trying. I've given it up for lost.
So Jacob is probably the most prolific poster on there, and we do thank him for being able to do that because it is real good stuff. But we're going to give you an overview of some of that and talk about our opinions on what some of the things that we have seen there. But we're all over there. We're all contributing. We're all doing stuff on that Facebook page as we can. So please like it, and by all means, I'm starting to see this trend. I noticed it last week. It's continuing this week, where people are starting to post their own links to stories that they find interesting. So by all means, continue to do that. Love to see it.
And don't forget that, some of the stories that we post on the Facebook page don't make it to the show, so that you might be missing something.
Oh, yeah,
so go
absolutely. Because we are limited by the amount of time that we're in. We're in this 1 hour block of time, and we can't get to everything. We just go with the things that we think, might be the most interesting, at least to us.
You might miss out on the fact that they're rebooting Rainbow Bright.
Really?
Well, we posted it. We're not going to talk about it, but we posted it.
Yeah, it just wasn't interesting to me. Rainbow Bright, really?
Yeah. Don't get me.
I'm depressed.
Yeah,
I really am. But I've seen some of the prep show work that Jeff has done over here. I'm about to be very happy.
Yay!
Let's get into the top 10 movies of the weekend here real quick. Run that down. Left Behind hanging in there at number 10. It dropped from its debut of, what was it, about $6.5 to $7 million last week, $2.8 million. So it's made $10.8 million, and that should about cover the special effects that they did on it because, wow, they just didn't spend any money on special effects on that film. And at number 9, the stop-action animated film Box Trolls, $6.6 million, 41 total for that. Maze Runner still in there, $7.4 million. This should tell you something. We're at $7.5 million for the number 8 film of the weekend. People are going back and checking out some stuff. 83.8 there. Addicted debuts at $7.4 million. Haven't heard much about this film. Anybody know much about this, Jacob or Jeff?
I don't.
I know that Joe Lockett was giving away tickets to it on the show last weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think it's about booty.
Oh, is that what that is? We can't talk about that anymore then.
So it's got pirates in it?
Yes, that's it. You got it. Up to number 6, The Equalizer, another $9.7 million in the till, $79.8 million there. And that brings us to the top 5. You got The Judge. It debuts at $13.1 million. This is a film that, Jacob, you and I had the chance to go check out last Friday night. I'm going to lead off on this because I'm going to say this right off the bat. $13.1 million. Little disappointed in this because I think this film is actually much better film than the $13.1 million debut at number 5 would lead you to believe. Walked into the film, wasn't expecting a whole lot of groundbreaking stuff here, okay? We heard the synopsis of it last week. Big-time lawyer has to return to his small-town roots because his dad, a judge, has got himself into a bit of trouble here, and that's, a generality there, okay? What you heard there, absolutely true. Nothing groundbreaking here at all. This is well-worn territory. It's easily predictable. You're going to find yourself saying, I know what's going to happen, and sure enough, it's going to happen. That said, I'm not going to say flawlessly, but fantastically executed. Robert Downey Jr. slides away from his Tony Stark persona in Iron Man, which we've seen so much of, and he just slides into this role easily. Robert Duvall, fantastic in what he does. The surrounding cast is very, very well done, and for something that we're just... You put it on, and it's not so worn out that you're trying to keep your toes from going through the holes in the jeans. This is just that well-worn-in, comfortable pair of jeans that you go to every time you're looking to put on a pair of jeans. This is my favorite pair. I'm going to go to it. I loved the film. I'm giving it a 9. Jacob, it's yours.
Okay. I had a few little complaints, and I will say about I don't think that they've marketed this movie very well.
That's probably also true.
I think it when you look at it on the face, like when you see the advertising, it doesn't look like it's a movie for everyone. But I disagree with that. It's actually it's really good.
Right.
I had minor complaints and I didn't think that I would be able to say this about this movie, but the special effects are bad.
Yeah, I went back Saturday, the next day, and rewatched the film, and the one scene that you and I were talking about with him just driving, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, there are several scenes where it's like it's either obviously CG or that's obvious that they're in front of a green screen. And I'm like could we not get a set for this? I mean, could we not get a permit to film in a real location?
I bet you some small town in Indiana would have said, "Yeah, come on in."
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that should be a big deal. But overall, great movie. Plot is good, like you said, predictable but good. Acting is fantastic. I loved Robert Downey Jr. and I loved Robert Duvall in this. They are both fantastic. Like I said, it's good but predictable. The plot is the pacing is a little slow, and there are some parts where it drags a little bit.
Right.
But overall, really good movie. I'm giving it an 8. It's not groundbreaking, but it's a movie that you need to go see.
Yeah, my biggest flaw in this was, and I understand people will get upset and they will use language that they don't necessarily mean to, and there is obviously that family friction that's involved in there, but it seemed like the person who was writing the script on this got a little bit too happy with the 4-letter words in places where it really wasn't needed. It's not going to... I've used the phrase before, rape your ears, but you might be a little bit on the offended side if you walk in thinking this is going to be a family film. This is an adult film language-wise, so, understand that. But there's words in there, and some of it's a little bit on the overly superfluous side. That, to me, and re-looking at what you had said, the special effects side of things, those are the two biggest flaws that I could find, and that's not bad.
I will also give out the warning for those of you who may be... squeamish might be the right word. There is a very
the graphic scene in the bathroom
scene
yeah.
of a young son or younger son having to take care of his elderly father, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, let's just say that Robert Duvall's character is very, very sick, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. That brings us to the top 4. The horror film Annabelle, $15.8 million, 61.6. So still in the top 5. Really didn't lose a whole lot of steam from last week. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, blah, 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 blah. That debuts to $18.3 million. Now, is the movie this good? I haven't read any reviews on this, so I'm going into this and asking this question cold, and you may not know. So I'm just going to ask it and see where we go. Is the movie actually that good, or are we just starved for family entertainment right now, and that's why this gets $18.3 million?
I haven't seen any reviews or anything on it. But actually, I saw on Rotten Tomatoes where it actually got some decent Rotten Tomatoes reviews, which it was like 65% or something. But
that could explain a lot. And admittedly, I mean, looking at the top 10 list now, Left Behind, Box Trolls, Maze Runner, Addicted, Equalizer, Judge, Annabelle, Alexander, Dracula, Untold, Gone Girl, which we got coming up here. We are kind of starved for family entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing else out right now.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Number 2, Dracula Untold, debuts at $23.5 million. So far, my neighbor has not talked about wanting to go see this yet. So far, I've been able to escape it.
I would like to survey all of the people that paid to go see this movie and find out who did, and then give them all like a notice to not reproduce.
We need you out of the gene pool?
Yeah.
Wow. That seems almost a little on the harsh side. But then again, none of us have seen the film, so I don't know.
Well, I've seen the previews.
Well, that's true. That brings us to number 1. Remaining at number 1 for the second week in a row, Gone Girl, $26.4 million, 77.8 in its 2-week total. And Jacob, you and I noticed this. We came out of the Judge Friday night, looked at each other and went, wow, we haven't seen this and we're not sure, maybe even all summer. 2 movies that you and I, in 2 weeks in a row, that we were actually happy that we had gone to see.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times there'll be a week where we see something where we really enjoy, and the next week we'll go watch it just to say we watched it. We'll watch a Dracula Untold in between just to say we watched something.
Right. Yeah, these were actually 2 quality films in a row. Both of them have a lot of language. Understand that. So that said, a couple of very good films that are out right now, at least in our opinion. And coming out this week, a couple of others that actually could be very, very good. We mentioned these 4 films last week, and Jeff, you said you wanted to see 3 of these.
Correct.
Fury, starring Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, Logan Lerman, movie about a World War II tank crew involved in the final push toward Germany. This is April 1945, so right about the time Hitler would have taken his own life. The rookie soldier that is put into the tank crew is where we're going to center all this. Is this one of them?
Oh, yeah.
That's one. Jacob, do you want to see this?
Definitely.
I want to see this as well, so we may have to work out something here after we get out of Talladega weekend. Then we bring up The Best of Me, James Marsden, Michelle Monaghan, about a pair of former high school sweethearts who reconnect during a return visit to their hometown. I'm going to go not very far out on this very, very thin limb and say that this is the film that Jeff does not want to see.
You would be correct. I know it was tough. Probably had to flip a coin at the end.
Not really, no.
Okay.
Just saying. Any interest in this at all, Jacob?
No.
That makes 3 of us. The Book of Life, voices of Zoe Saldana, Channing Tatum, Ron Perlman, and others. Animated film about a young man torn between following his heart and fulfilling the expectations of his family, and must go on a journey to face his fears. I may be wrong in saying that this is animated. This stop motion.
Is. Yes, it's the one that's produced by Guillermo del Toro.
But this is stop motion animation, right?
It may be.
I could be wrong. I could be confusing
computer
myself.
In the style of stuff. I mean, they look sort of like.
Okay.
Like they're puppets.
Okay, and this one, obviously, because we just found the one that you're not interested in, this one interests you, other than the fact that it's Guillermo del Toro.
It just looks gorgeous, and it's a lot of the imagery is from like the Mexican Day of the Dead festival,
right?
And it just looks beautiful, and the previews I've seen actually seem genuinely pretty funny.
Jacob, you agree?
I do. My only complaint that I can see from the previews of this is, could we not find someone who could do a better Mexican accent than Channing Tatum?
I think that's going to be part of the humor to me.
Maybe so.
Unintentional as it may be?
I think it may have been an intentional move.
Really?
Okay. Sure.
To make sure that we get somebody who we know can't do a Hispanic accent and throw him in there anyway?
Sure, I'm just going to say that, yes. They mean for it to be funny because he's terrible.
Now, I do want to go see Fury. I have mild interest in the Book of Life, but I got to admit, my curiosity is piqued with this one. Birdman. Michael Keaton, Zach Galifianakis, Edward Norton, filmed about a washed-up actor who once played an iconic superhero. The washed-up side of it may not necessarily apply, but everything else seems to pretty well apply to one Michael Keaton. Keaton needs to overcome his ego and his family troubles, trying to attempt to reclaim the past glory as he goes and accepts a role in a Broadway play. This one, I'm intrigued by.
Oh, it is getting fantastic word of mouth. People are loving it.
Yeah. Jacob, interested?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, so these are the two that I think all of us are very, very avid about. Book of Life, I think we could probably, we could kind of take or leave, sort of, but we may have some plans here. We may have to have not just one, but maybe a couple of reviews next week here, considering the fact that once we get through the weekend, we'll have some afternoon matinee shows too, so that might actually help us out in our quest. Out in limited release, and there's quite a few of them that are out in limited release this weekend, so check around, see if you hear something that you really, really like. Make sure that it's playing near you. Something called Dear White People, a film called Listen Up, Philip, which stars Elizabeth Moss, Jonathan Pryce. The Town That Dreaded Sundown, a film called Rudderless, which stars Billy Crudup and Felicity Huffman. You got Camp X-Ray, which stars Kristen Stewart, apparently pulling her best imitation of a G.I. Jane.
I think this is about the waterboarding or something at Guantanamo. It's one of our military scandals.
Oh, fantastic. The Tale of Princess Kaguya? Kaguya?
Have you seen the preview for this?
I have not.
It looks beautiful. It's animation in the style of Japanese watercolors with like really light brush strokes.
Okay.
Oh, it looks really good. I'm interested in this one.
And they've gotten themselves quite the little lineup here. Voices of Chloe Grace Moretz, James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, and others. Two others, Watchers of the Sky and Default.
And just so you know, I'm sorry, the Tale of Princess Kaguya is from Studio Ghibli, which is the studio that now his name escapes me. The gentleman he's done Princess Mononoke, he did Spirited Away. Most of his animated films from Japan have pretty much come over here and found a really big audience. And now for the Miyazaki. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've heard that name, actually. Coming out next week, horror film, Ouija board. Yay. I'm coming back to it. A film called White Bird in a Blizzard, and the movie that we have actually been making fun of ever since we saw the first trailer for it, Keanu Reeves and John Wick.
I'm so looking forward to that.
We got to see this just for the pure camp value of it, because I'm sure that this is not going to be a great film.
No, it can't be.
I don't know. I've read a couple of early reviews that are like, you know what?
This thing is based upon a premise where, I understand about his girlfriend has passed away, but this is based upon the premise that he's seeking revenge because they killed his dog.
His dying wife gave it to him.
Yeah, someone killed my dog. I'm going on a murderous rampage. That
makes sense.
It does. It makes perfect sense to me. I think it's the greatest revenge basis ever written, to be honest with you. And
well, I will admit he did steal the car too.
From what I've read a couple of reviews that have been very positive. I think the director was actually like a stunt coordinator for a long time. This is his first feature film. They said it's finally a movie that action fans have been asking for since the Bourne franchise, where everything, all the action scenes are well laid out, shot, like in longer takes, and it's just a solid. So it doesn't reinvent the wheel, but what it does very, very good.
So in other words, I am going to go in this with quite low expectations. I could be pleasantly surprised, is what you're saying.
Yep.
I look forward to the opportunity of being pleasantly surprised. There we go. Wraps up our first segment. Let's go ahead and move on, and we will talk when we come back about some movie news here. And this week, as opposed to last week, we were kind of bereft when it came to superhero news. Yeah, we got so much superhero news, it's coming out our ears.
They do all their own stunts. The Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
Yes, this is real music. Dark, brooding, important, groundbreaking. Check out the lyrics. Darkness, no parents. Continue darkness, more darkness, get it? The opposite of light.
Oh, that's just fantastic. We have tried to figure out so many different ways of trying to get you into different Batman-related stories. And then Jeff came up with this nugget. This is out of the Lego movie, correct?
Sure is.
I love it. It's the Batman theme out of the Lego film. We're going to get to Batman here in just a couple of seconds on a couple of different aspects. But first up, Jacob, as we jump right into the superhero news, we just saw Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. Great film. For me, kind of a 1A, 1B, best film of the year so far. But they're already talking about plans for Captain America 3, and apparently some crossover plans have been made. What have they got going on with Cap 3?
Yeah, and now this may have changed since I first got this story, but Robert Downey Jr. is on the verge of signing on to Captain America 3, playing Tony Stark. And they're going to try to bring the Civil War storyline to Captain America 3. For those who don't know, the Civil War storyline is basically the United States tries to do a superhero registration act, which makes all of the superheroes try to reveal their identities to the U.S. government and agree to act as a police force for the United States. And Stark is in favor of the program, and Steve Rogers, or Captain America, is not. And they basically fight it out, draw lines in the sand, and some of the Marvel Universe takes Steve Rogers' side, some takes Tony Stark's side. So
now, did I or did I not read in the same story that they're also going to, because of this, if they do confirm this, that they are going to try to re-release the Civil War in comic book or graphic novel form?
Well, they're actually going to do a new take on Civil War. Okay. They're basically going to do a second Civil War story. It's not going to be the same story, but in 2015, Marvel will, in the comic books, they will be doing a Civil War event. I don't know how I forget exactly how that's supposed to play out, but.
And the other thing that I find interesting about this is Steve Rogers obviously was a captain in the military before he became Captain America, so he would be known to the government.
Well, that's the reason that they may be using the title, but I doubt the reasons are going to be the same.
I'm sure.
Because right now, in everything that Marvel Studios has done, it all leads up to the Avengers, so every hero that they've introduced, S.H.I.E.L.D. knows who they are. Correct. So it's not an issue. They're going to have to find some other reason for them to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with
that. But, in the end of, this spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen Captain America 2, turn off the radio for about 30 seconds.
And go.
At the end of Captain America 2, Black Widow dumps all of S.H.I.E.L.D. files onto the internet. So
that's true.
Yeah, that's right.
They're all out there.
All of our secrets are now wide open.
So I don't exactly know what you're registering at that point. But.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see where this goes. Well, speaking of Captain America 2, they gave us a very big hint about the one Dr. Stephen Strange. Now we're getting more word, Jeff, on about a film that might center around that character.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago you had word that Ethan Hawke was up for the role, and then this week, Ewan McGregor's name was thrown in there. Well, most recent news, there's a few other names in there. Jake Gyllenhaal, they're looking at him. Oscar Isaac, who was in Sucker Punch and also Inside Llewyn Davis.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got the face.
And then a name I'm sure everyone knows, Matthew McConaughey. Actually, they are talking to him about this.
All right.
So, and Jared Leto again.
Okay. Now, obviously, there are other names that could be thrown out there, but of that list, anyone that you see that just kind of fits it perfectly?
I like Oscar Isaac, but I think
that's where I'm going to on that list, Oscar Isaac, and maybe even a Jared Leto or however you pronounce his name.
I think that Matthew McConaughey would bring a little bit too of a casual form to it. He always catches me as a kind of casual kind of guy, and I don't know whether Dr. Stephen Strange is that casual a dude.
Hey, man, by the hoary hosts of Hoggoth.
Yeah, it's got to be dark, and I don't see him pulling off dark.
Nah, I don't really either. So I kind of already want to remove him. Now, Ewan McGregor, I could see there. Yeah. Ethan Hawke, I think, was actually a pretty good idea. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the role, but Oscar Isaac, I got no problem with that. That wouldn't be a bad move.
Well, and I'm also trying to factor into just the look.
Right.
You got to have somebody who looks the part, and I think only out of that list, Oscar Isaac and Jared Leto are the only two that actually seem to look like they could pull off Stephen Strange.
Yeah, I agree. Over to D.C. here, and Michael Keaton, of course, brought Batman to the big screen back in the late 80s, kind of somewhat credited with reigniting the hero, possibly kicking off new interest in superhero films. So, Jeff, Keaton, would you ever consider donning the Batsuit again? We didn't do bad with Christian Bale, obviously, but George Clooney, Val Kilmer,
Apparently he was asked that question by Entertainment Weekly, and he says, quote, if it was Tim Burton directing, in a heartbeat.
Ah.
So that's his one single condition. But so Michael Keaton will never don the Batman suit again. I'm
calling
it now.
I'm going to call that now, yeah. It would be an interesting thing if Tim Burton would decide to go and jump back into that, but I don't see that happening, especially now with what they're trying to do with the character.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
DC
Yeah,
and WB is going to.
I'll also shovel horse manure for $20 million a day. You know, so let's throw that out there.
Just so you know.
I appreciate your efforts there, Jacob. I'm sure it would be a sacrifice for you.
Yeah.
All right, do me a favor. Play our little intro again, would you?
Yes, this is real music. Dark, brooding, important, groundbreaking.
Okay, there is a reason why I've asked him to replay this, and here we go. Apparently, this coming out of the Lego Movie, which we saw early here in 2013. Fantastic film if you haven't checked it out, by the way. They had Batman in there, and the name just went right out of my head of who voiced him.
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett, thank you very much.
Yes.
For some reason I was going Chris, and I knew that was wrong. Will Arnett portraying there. Apparently Lego has decided they want in on this whole Batman thing, so they're going to do a solo film as well. Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, apparently WB has fast-tracked the Lego Batman movie. Actually, they plan to make a Lego movie 2 eventually, but the Batman is going to take its original slot in the lineup. So, Chris McKay, who acted as the supervisor on Lego Movie, will now direct the Batman movie from a script by Seth Grahame-Smith, who wrote Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Well, that could be interesting.
And the book Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Right.
Sort of an interesting writer. So Will Arnett's going to be back. A lot of the same producers, and Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who I believe were the directors of the Lego Movie, will be producers as well. So,
I mean, as much success as those Lego Batman video games have had, it's hard for them not to go to that well.
Yeah, I understand that.
I know one 7 and
worked in
1
black.
and one 5-year-old who will be frothing at the mouth to see this.
I actually kind of want to see it. I
I
kind of want
would
to see it
too.
now.
It was the best.
I know a 30-year-old who would.
Yeah.
I'll just say, 2 of my nephews, once they hear about this, it will be game over.
All over, but the crying until it actually comes out in the
Yep.
theaters. I only work in black, really dark shades of gray. Staying with DC Comics, Jacob apparently got some big plans regarding several properties, Justice League included. So let's start running down that list.
All right, so Warner Brothers did a big shareholders meeting this week, and they have released their lineup for the next, up until 2020, for DC movies. We've got Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice in 2016, which we knew about.
Right.
Suicide Squad, directed by David Ayer in 2016. Wonder Woman, starring Gal Gadot in 2017. Justice League Part 1, directed by Zack Snyder, with Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and Amy Adams reprising their roles in 2017.
Now, are they confirmed for this?
According to this, they are.
Okay.
This is from the official press release.
All right.
The Flash is coming out in 2018. We'll talk about that more in a minute.
Yes, we will.
Aquaman, starring Jason Momoa in 2018 as well. Shazam, which we already know stars, will have the villain as The Rock in 2019. Part 2 of the Justice League, again directed by Zack Snyder in 2019. A Cyborg standalone movie starring Ray Fisher, which is the one that I don't get, in 2020, and then a Green Lantern reboot in 2020.
Which, by that time, hopefully, we will have at least gotten most of the bad taste of the Ryan Reynolds version out of our mouths.
Yeah, let's hope we can forget that.
All right, Jeff, he mentioned it. We got ourselves a Flash TV series prompting the Flash movie that he just talked about. So is DC Comics, and I'm asking this question because Marvel has been able to do this, and we noted this last week, how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV series, has stepped it up big time, major step up. Are they going to take the hint from Marvel Comics and weave in and out the TV series and the movies?
No.
Of course not.
Absolutely not. You've got Grant Gustin, who plays the Flash on the CW show, which 2 episodes in, I'm loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but they've announced that Ezra Miller will be playing the same role, Barry Allen as the Flash in the movie in 2018. And you may know Ezra Miller from playing the fabulous on the outside, crying on the inside gay friend in the Mope Fest, which was The Benefits of Being a Wallflower. Is that what it was called? Something like that, yeah.
Well, the perks of being a wallflower.
But hey, perks, benefits, whatever.
Perks, benefits.
It's a teenage Mope Fest.
So, in other words, we don't know who he is.
I've seen the movie.
Part, no.
So, and he was good in that. So,
okay, can you see him in the role, or would you rather them have pulled our TV star to the films?
what is this, 2018? So it's in 4 years. Who knows how?
And things could change between now and then.
Right. Well, I mean, if they've tapped him, I assume he's going to be making an appearance before his solo film.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay.
So I can see it. Whatever. WB, do what you're going to do.
All right, let's step away from the superhero side. Jeff, going to stay with you, moving over to comedy and just more proof Hollywood has no new ideas. Thought about apparently working up a sequel to the old film Joe Dirt.
Yeah, Adam Sandler and Happy Madison just made their Netflix deal for 4 pictures.
Right. Yeah, this was a bit of news that came out a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure we were able to detail it a whole lot. I think we gave it, but I don't think we were able to detail it.
Okay, anyway, Happy Madison and Netflix signed a 4-picture deal, and the first film out of that is going to be Joe Dirt 2. It'll be a digital sequel.
Life's a Garden.
Yeah, it's being done with Sony-based Crackle. David Spade will once again return as the mullet-sporting moron. And
will he go back to the mullet? Because at the end of the first film, he was given like this weird braiding kind of look hairdo.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I've never seen the first one, but same writer.
It's got its moments.
Fred Wolf will be co-writing it with him, and he will also direct Mr. Fred Wolf. Apparently, they're going to start in mid-November shooting this puppy.
Oh, good grief!
And it'll be.
I like the first one a lot, but I don't know about the second.
I'm not going to say that I liked it a lot. I thought it was funny in places. There were times when it was really good, and then there were times where I was kind of looking at it and going, well, I just really didn't need that. But then again, that's pretty typical Adam Sandler kind of stuff. I don't know whether the second one was warranted.
Well, this is coming out next year, whether you want it or not.
Well, I don't have Netflix. I'm thinking about it.
And
this isn't going to push me over the edge. I'll tell you that.
Oh, the Marvel series will get me there.
There you go.
This is funny. A little quote from Spade.
Yeah.
It says, I'm beyond stoked that Joe Dirt will finally hit the screens again on Crackle because I've been sleeping in this wig for years and it'll be nice to wear it in the daytime again.
God, he would say that. Jacob, couple of trailers here. Want to start off with one Ron Howard film starring the man that we know very well as Thor. What's the movie?
Yeah, well, apparently Ron Howard wants to go back to his Opie and Andy fishing days, and he's doing
I want to land a big one.
A movie called In the Heart of the Sea. It's based on the real-life story that inspired the book Moby Dick. So it's basically Thor versus a giant whale in, like the 1800s.
Don't forget the Scarecrow. Apparently is on his crew as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is.
Very nice pick. I have to admit, didn't see that part. Well done, my friend.
Thank you.
Then we'll stay with trailers here. Got one out for Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 of the latest one, which kind of sees her going back and getting a vision of District 12 after the Capitol has, torched it. What did you think?
I mean, it's interesting. There's not a lot you see in this teaser. She's basically walking through District 12 is the thing. You hear Philip Seymour Hoffman and Julianne Moore's character kind of talking about how to persuade her to join in, and that's about all you see.
This, obviously taken from the movie, I think they did it very well because having listened, not read, but having listened to the books on audiobook, there is a part in there when she does return in there, she starts to grab some things from her old house, and then she happens to look up and she sees this one white rose. And I'm not going to give away any significance to it if you don't understand it. But the way that Jennifer Lawrence portrayed it is pretty much the way that you have the visual when you either read the words in the book or you hear it coming through your speakers. I think she's done it very well. She just seems to easily kind of drift into the character of Katniss Everdeen and then drifts out of it and goes on and does things like films like American Hustle and others. I mean, she's kind of effortlessly just moving in and around in all these different parts, and I got to give her a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
Jeff, the remake of Ben-Hur. Oh gosh, I'm still torn about whether this actually should be remade, but they continue to add cast members, so it's going to happen. Who are they adding, or who are they wanting to add, and for what?
Pedro Pascal, who most people would know as playing the Red Viper of Dorne on HBO's Game of Thrones in this past season, which I have yet to see, so shh.
I don't know anything about it, so by all means, have at it.
Is in talks to play Pontius Pilate. And he'll maybe joining Gal Gadot, who's in talks for the leading lady role. And he'll join Jack Houston, Toby Cabell, Morgan Freeman, and the aforementioned Gal Gadot, perhaps, when production begins early next year. For a release date on February 26th of the 16th.
The 2016?
Hi.
Let's see, where are we going now? Jacob, a couple of weeks ago, talked about a couple of possible futures related to Underworld, the movie series, maybe a TV show, maybe Kate Beckinsale is going to be replaced, maybe she would stay there, then the possibility of the TV show. Now they're coming out with some more news on this. Is movie, TV show, both of them still open, neither of them still open? What are we doing?
Well, it looks like the director Len Weissman decided to speak up about this. He says there's actually 2 Underworld movies in development. There's one where Theo James would lead, that we talked about earlier, and which would probably be more of a spin-off movie. And there's another with Kate Beckinsale that she could be in. We don't know if she's going to be in or not.
I like that.
And
she could be.
Also a TV show in the works. So if you're one of the people who continued to like Underworld after the second one,
that'd be Ryan.
There's some news for you.
There you go. Ryan, too bad you're not here. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll finish up movie news. We'll drift over into some television stuff as well, because time's flying on this edition of the Entertainment Roundtable. When we come back, we get to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy and James Bond together. We'll tell you the link next.
Hope you got your popcorn, because we're back to the Entertainment Roundtable on Superstation 101.
As we come back to the Entertainment Roundtable, you are listening to the old TV show theme, Lost in Space. And yep, we got news about it. We'll talk about it in just a little bit right now. Jeff, last time we saw Dave Bautista on the big screen, he was kicking tail, taking names. Actually appreciated his acting chops. Didn't know he had any in the film Guardians of the Galaxy. And apparently he's looking to expand out on his acting hobby. What's he being tabbed for?
Looks like he's going to play the role of the main henchman and assassin in Bond 24.
That would make sense. He would look like be a pretty bad guy.
Name of Hinks. They were looking for someone over 6'2", and Bautista 6'6".
Got him.
And full of muscle.
Yeah, she is.
And, actually has some acting chops. So Bond 24 is getting ready to shoot before the end of the year, so we should be getting a title and some more information, including some more casting. Also, last week we heard that Léa Seydoux, she was the female assassin in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, gotcha.
They got rid of Sawyer at the beginning.
Yeah.
And went out a window.
Uh-huh.
She will be the femme fatale in Bond.
Okay.
24.
There you go.
I like how you think you were surprised that Dave Bautista had acting skills. He's a pro wrestler. What else do they do?
Yeah, but there's acting in a wrestling ring, and then there's acting on a screen.
I
mean, witness Hulk Hogan.
Well, yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, the wrestling acting usually pretty broad. It's the main demand.
Right. Jacob, to you, and earlier this year saw an NFL-based film, The Flop, which I drafted, Draft Day. Actually a better film than its box office take, but not by a whole lot. Hollywood going to try to go back to the most popular sports league in the United States. This time got a drama based upon the current commissioner and how he is handling one, not necessarily the one you might be thinking of the scandals that's currently plaguing the league. What do you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that the other scandals will be made into movies, too. Because
I'm sure they'll be at least mentioned, yes.
Yeah, we've got a movie, and I don't know that it has a title. I don't know it has a title yet, but it's going to be based on the doctor who blew the whistle on the traumatic brain injuries in football, the concussions,
right?
And how the NFL dealt with it. Will Smith plays the aforementioned doctor, and Luke Wilson has signed on to play Roger Goodell. Also in this, Alec Baldwin, Albert Brooks, and Paul Reiser. So
this is going to be a film that probably should be aptly titled "Burying Roger Goodell."
Yeah,
because that's going to be the intent of it. I can tell.
Or why has Roger Goodell not been fired?
Well, that could be true too.
Bad Goodell.
Jeff, been some time since we've seen the Jim Henson Company this prolific. Got the resurgence of the Muppets. Second movie came out earlier this year. Not as obviously money-making as the first one, but it's got them back on the screen, and apparently that's bolstered the company into doing some new projects. You've heard about a couple of them.
Yeah, it looks like they're working on an animated adaptation of the 1979 book Witch,
Okay.
with Billy Crystal co-writing.
That actually could be kind of good.
And producing. Brian Henson will also direct. It tells of a wizard who holds a contest among 7 witches of Toddcastle to determine which witch he will marry.
Ah.
Also, Henson has the rights to Arnold Lobel's Frog and Toad, and is also working on a movie based on Emmett Otter. So if you remember, he had a Emmett Otter's Christmas jug
Emmett
band.
Otter, yeah.
Christmas jug, whatever.
Yeah, I do remember that special.
And the big rumor that came out this week was that, hey, Labyrinth sequel on the way. But apparently, EW has an anonymous source saying that, yeah, the people at Jim Henson talk about this a lot over the years, but
In other
nothing
words,
ever happens.
It's a wish list thing
Right.
for them. Gotcha.
And their site says there are currently no plans to reboot, revive, or make a sequel to Labyrinth.
I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel to Labyrinth if it was done well.
Have you heard about The Babe?
I have not.
The Babe with the Power?
Jacob last year saw Ashton Kutcher portraying Apple co-founder Steve Jobs. There is another movie in the works about Steve Jobs. This is not a sequel, by the way, and actually one of the former Batman actors is in talks to star. Who is it?
Yeah, that's right. Adam West is going to be playing Steve Jobs in an alternate reality where Steve Jobs never died. No, just kidding. Christian Bale is signed on to play Steve Jobs in another Jobs movie that, I guess we needed too.
Well, if I'm remembering correctly, the film that we saw with Ashton Kutcher was almost just kind of loosely based on his life, whereas this one's supposed to be more based upon the biography that came out.
Yes, this one is the one that is actually based on the biography and not just, a retelling of.
Hey, let's make a movie about Steve Jobs. That sounds like a good idea.
I want to see the one you talked about.
I do too. That sounds like a great movie.
Break out the Apple bat shark repellent.
You want to know what it sounded like to me? Jacob wants on the promo.
Maybe.
Jeff got a movie based upon a video game, specifically Hitman Agent 47, which was supposed to be coming out somewhat soon, but apparently not as soon as initially thought.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason, right? Sort of.
We'll see. It was going to come back on. It was going to come out on February 27th, but they pushed it back 6 months to August 28th, 2015. Sources said the move was due to the project needing more time to complete the many special effects shots. You may remember that as the reason that Jupiter Ascending,
which is supposed to come out in
summer.
February?
Yes.
I think now is what we got. Jacob would know better. He's got the list of the films that we're going to be using next week as our winter movie league draft.
Early February.
Okay, so they're using the same basic idea. Is this the same movie company?
This would be Fox International.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't believe is the same.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. But
yeah, Jupiter Ascending is Warner Brothers.
I just kind of wonder whether they were just scared off about competition. But 6 months from August, that puts them out in February.
They say the movie just grew in scope than what was initially planned for when they first slotted it.
Maybe they started to decide to actually make a good version of this, and so they were like, "Oh, we need more time."
We thought we'd better have a script ready, so we started writing one.
There's an idea. Before we get away from movie news, Jacob, you noted this. Favorite website is back up and in action. What's the site, and what in the world happened to it?
Well, Box Office Mojo, which if you don't know, that's where we got a lot of our information for the Summer Movie Draft League. And it had been bought out a while back by IMDb or parent company Amazon. And on Friday night, it went down and redirected everyone to IMDb.
Oh, wow.
And so, which kind of freaked everybody out. Saturday, it came back up, and it's.
Is it new and improved?
Not really. It kind of stripped things down, but
Oh, it's leaner and meaner.
Something like that.
Something
but
like that.
It's there and it's something. So
okay, happy.
It makes doing the draft stuff easier. So
very good. That's what we needed. On to Blu-ray, which comes out next Tuesday. You got actually 4 films this time. Not really a whole lot to choose from still. Although I did hear good things about the movie Snowpiercer.
Yes, good movie.
Then you got Earth to Echo, which nobody wanted to see. A movie that I drafted, The Purge, Anarchy, which was, and this is not saying a whole lot. It was better than what I thought, but I was walking in there thinking I was going to come out with about a 3. I gave it a 5. And the film Sex Tape. I don't know as any of us went and saw that film. Anybody? It was even drafted. I don't think anybody of us went and saw that film.
Nope.
not a bad thing. For TV series collectors, you got season 3 of The Equalizer. Gee, wonder if they're maybe trying to capitalize on the Denzel Washington film of the same name, which, by the way, the movie is somewhat loosely based upon the idea of the TV show. Final season, part 1 of Mad Men, and the complete series collection of Pee-wee's Playhouse. I would have thought that was already out already, but I guess not. TV news, and we start off with the Fox Network, which debuted the Batman backstory this season. They got a new series, Gotham. Jacob, how's the show doing other than so far, judging by what I heard here on the show last week, we all seem to like it?
Yeah, personal things aside, Fox seems to like it. They have given it a full 22-episode order, so it was already a kind of a large ordered show. They had already ordered 16, but they went ahead and ordered the other 6 episodes.
So we got a full season coming up, and was it you, Jacob, that posted, or I can't remember who it was, but somebody posted an idea of how to end the show? Did you see this picture?
Somebody had had photoshopped, what's his name?
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's hair and mustache and glasses from the Christian Bale series, and photoshopped it onto the Commissioner Gordon in this show.
That actually wouldn't be a bad move. But then again, if this goes probably likely for a few seasons, which I know Fox would like it to, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to see other versions of Batman and other versions of Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, I think that they will probably slowly, like he'll eventually get a mustache, and will eventually start wearing glasses, and will eventually start wearing his hair longer.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Be more of the Commissioner Gordon that we know today.
Yeah. Jeff, last week talked about ABC, and they had some thoughts about creating a new series based upon the old John Candy movie, Uncle Buck. This idea not making some people all that happy.
Yeah, both the estates of John Hughes and John Candy not very thrilled with this idea. They released a statement that says, disappointment has been expressed by both the John Hughes and John Candy families over the conduct and decision making by the ABC Network and Universal Television to develop a comedy series based on the feature film Uncle Buck. Rather than either entity providing advance information to the estates, the families learned of this project's potential via the media. So
hey, they could have been listening to us.
I started to say, little known fact, those two families were chose to speak for the rest of the population of the earth.
Here's a cool little line. Recalling that the director was displeased with the first Uncle Buck TV show effort, which failed on CBS in 1990, it is well expected that he would not be supportive of this current attempt.
I could see that, absolutely.
So yeah, the estates and families of both Candy and Hughes, no, not happy. Of course, sort of like Cameron Crowe with the whole Say Anything from a week or two ago.
Yeah, not thrilled about
Oh, you're going to make a TV show of that? I'm glad I'm hearing about this now.
Yeah, thanks for the help. Thanks for the assist there, dude. Over at NBC, they decided, Jacob, that they've got a show out there that had a mid-season order that's never going to be seen. So let's just talk about it. Just for giggles, what do you know about this show? Anything?
A little bit. It was a Adam McKay, Will Ferrell production. It starred Kristen Ritter, and it was going to be about a woman in the 1960s at NASA. Kind of a single camera comedy in the vein of Anchorman.
Yeah.
Some problems after Smallville alum Michael Rosenbaum decided to exit the series, and they couldn't really recast very well, and so they just canceled the series.
I don't have a problem with it.
Nope.
If you're a Netflix subscriber with kids, you might remember the old Care Bears animated show, and if you do, you're in luck, according to this report that Jacob uncovered.
Yeah, they're rebooting the Care Bears franchise, calling it Care Bears and Cousins, kind of probably trying to ride that My Little Pony success, and they're actually kind of growing a slate of children's series, because earlier they announced a King Kong animated series. They've also ordered Dino Trucks, which is a DreamWorks animation book adaptation, and the Magic School Bus 360 Degrees. That's a series based on the classic children's show from the 1990s.
It's a PBS show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Magic School Bus? Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of remember it. Let's stay there. More specifically, Jacob, staying on the internet. Apparently, both HBO and CBS have plans for their own kind of subscription service. What are we talking about here?
My favorite story of the week. HBO has decided, for all of us all of you who decided to be a cord cutter and wants to get rid of your cable, they are going to do a standalone over-the-top HBO Go service, which will basically let you stream any HBO show. Don't know all the details there. We just know it's going to exist. And then the very next day, CBS announced that they are going to do a exact same thing where they're going to charge $6 a month. You get to stream new episodes of shows the day after it broadcasts. You get to stream the primetime shows and back catalog CBS shows, and also watch live TV. Only a couple of little caveats to mention is you don't get the NFL is out because
that's a totally separate deal.
Yeah, they belong to the NFL. If you want to live stream, you have to be in a market where CBS actually owns the local affiliate, which like here in Birmingham, they do not, so we wouldn't be able to live stream. And then it's because it's CBS, we're probably still going to have to sit through commercial breaks.
Gotcha. One more note here before we have to end, and we talked about Lost in Space, and it's a TV show without a network, but they want to reboot this. We saw the movie with Matt LeBlanc. We had the original series, 83 episodes. Jacob, what do they want to try to do? Got about 20 seconds to tell us.
They want to try to reboot it. It's probably going to be a terrible idea.
I think it will be. No network at this time, just an idea?
Just an idea at this point.
Let's leave it there, please. Yeah. Doesn't need to go any further than that. Jacob, thank you very much. And early next week, we'll see what we can't do about checking out some films like A Fury and others and work on getting several reviews for next week. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Have a fantastic weekend. Jeff, thank you very much. Have a fantastic weekend as well.
You too, brother.
And let's turn up some Lego Batman.